are you doing? All are fine? Okay, great. Right. So students, last week we have started the fourth colligative property which is called as osmotic pressure. So what did we learn students under osmotic pressure? Few 1-mark questions and also 2-mark questions. Do you remember? Yes, we have started with the diffusion, semi-permeable membrane, and next osmosis, osmotic pressure, and also differences between diffusion and osmosis. Okay, hope you have learned those answers, students. So today we are going to learn, we all know that osmotic pressure is one of the colligative properties, and we can determine molecular weight of a non-volatile solute from osmotic pressure. So today in this class we will be learning determination of molecular weight of a non-volatile solute from osmotic pressure. Ready? Right. Now put the side heading. Put the side heading, students. Determination of molecular weight of solute. Molecular weight of solute from osmotic pressure. From osmotic pressure or loss of osmotic pressure, LAWS students, loss of osmotic pressure or Van 't Hoff theory of dilute solutions. Okay, why these three side headings mean, students? Because we can determine molecular weight of solute from osmotic pressure using Van 't Hoff theory. Okay, so Van 't Hoff proposed two laws of osmotic pressure from which we are going to determine molecular weight of non-volatile solute from osmotic pressure. Okay, so the question can be asked in three different ways, and we will be writing the same answer for all the three questions. That's why I gave you three side headings. Okay, students, carefully write down. Once again, I am reading for you. Determination of molecular weight of solute from osmotic pressure or loss of osmotic pressure or Van 't Hoff theory of dilute solutions. Okay, so kindly underline all the three side headings. Okay, students, shall we start? Okay, students, so let's see or let's learn what Van 't Hoff's theory is first. Okay, so according to Van 't Hoff's theory, there are two postulates. Okay, so he proposed 2 points, or he has given us 2 points according to his observation of dilute solutions. Okay, so you write down, according to this theory, I will dictate you the 2 points, students. According to this theory, point number 1, write down, the solute particles of a dilute solution, the solute particles of a dilute solution exactly behave like particles of an ideal gas. Students, do you remember last year we have learned gaseous state? Okay, so now you know how the particles of ideal gas behave and how they are situated in an ideal gas. Do you remember? Now, here Van 't Hoff is telling us that solute particles of a dilute solution, how they are behaving, students? They are behaving exactly like particles of an ideal gas. Why? What is the reason? Because you all know in a dilute solution, the non-volatile solute is present in very smaller quantities. Okay, and therefore the distance between the solute particles will be less, because of which the attractive or repulsive forces among the solute particles in a dilute solution also will be less. The same is the case with ideal gas, students. The particles in an ideal gas also, they are far away from one another, or they are situated far apart from one another. Hence, the attractive and repulsive forces among the gaseous particles of ideal gas also will be less. Okay. Hence, he compared the solute particles of a dilute solution with the particles of an ideal gas. So, here write down because there will be less attractive and repulsive forces among the particles of solute in a dilute solution. Okay. So write down carefully, students. Solute particles of a dilute solution exactly behave like particles of an ideal gas, because there will be less attractive and repulsive forces. There will be less attractive and repulsive forces among the particles of solute in a dilute solution. So that is the first point of Van 't Hoff's theory. Okay, I am erasing, students. Next, point number 2. Write down point number 2. What is point number 2? Okay, now the osmotic pressure of a dilute solution. Write down the second point, students. The osmotic pressure. Students, you all know what osmotic pressure is. Now I am not going to explain again what is this osmotic pressure. Okay, so osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to pressure exerted by the solute particles. Osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional, means is equal to the pressure exerted by the solute particles when there is a condition, students, when they are completely converted into gas. Okay, so osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is equal to pressure exerted by the solute particles when they are completely converted into gas. Okay, understood now the 2 points of Van 't Hoff's theory. So now, basing on these 2 points, what did he do? He has proposed loss of osmotic pressure. Okay, students, what did he do? Basing on these 2 points, he proposed loss of osmotic pressure and showed that these laws are closely related to gas laws. Okay, so what did he explain, students? He has explained that the laws of osmotic pressure, they are closely related to gas laws. Okay, so let us see what these are. What the laws of osmotic pressure are. Okay, put the side heading. Number one, Van 't Hoff Boyle's law. Number 1, put the side heading Van 't Hoff Boyle's law. Okay, so understood now, students? He has proposed 2 laws of osmotic pressure basing on the 2 concepts. And first law of osmotic pressure is Van 't Hoff Boyle's law. Okay, so kindly write down the statement of the students. At constant temperature, at constant temperature, at constant temperature, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to concentration of the solution. What is it, students? What does Van Hoff Boyle's law state? It states that at constant temperature, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to concentration of the solution. Written the statement. Okay. Now, I will show you in the form of an expression. Students, osmotic pressure is denoted by the letter pi. Pi. Okay. Osmotic pressure is denoted by the letter pi. So, what is it proportional to at constant temperature? It is proportional to concentration of the solution. So, write down pi proportional to C. Pi proportional to C. I am erasing the statement, students. Pi proportional to C. Okay. So, here write down one statement, students. If 1 mole of a solute, if 1 mole of solute is dissolved in, if 1 mole of a solute is dissolved in V liters of solution, capital V, students, put it in inverted commas, V liters of solution, comma, then C will be equal to how much, students? Number of moles of solute is 1 and volume of the solution, capital V. So, 1 mole of the solute is dissolved in V liters of the solution. So, now what will be? C will be equal to 1 by V. Why? Because concentration is known from number of moles of solute per volume. Okay, per unit volume, right? So, C is equal to 1 by V. So, pi proportional to C, therefore, pi proportional to 1 by V. Okay, pi proportional to 1 by V. Give this equation number 1, students. Okay, so from this expression, we can state Van Hoff Boyle's law as at constant temperature, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to concentration of the solution. Okay. Now, can you state from this expression, students? How will we give the statement? Yeah. At constant temperature, write down. At constant temperature, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is where is V, students? In the denominator. So, is inversely proportional to, very good, is inversely proportional to volume of the solution. You cannot close here. But when it happened pi proportional to 1 by V, there is a condition. So, write down that condition. When 1 mole of a solute is dissolved in, yes, that you should mention here. When 1 mole of solute is dissolved in V liters of solution. When 1 mole of solute is dissolved in V liters of solution. Okay, so you can state in this way or this way, students. Okay, so first you can state, suppose you are asked 1 mark question, state Van Hoff Boyle's law. So you can state this way or this way, it is your wish. Okay, students. This is about the first law. Next, put the side heading. Put the side heading. Van't Hoff Charles law. Charles. Van't Hoff Charles law. Second law. Put the side heading. Van't Hoff Charles law. Fine. Now, what is the statement of this Van't Hoff Charles law, students? Write down. When concentration remains constant, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to absolute temperature. Okay, so this is the statement, students. What is the statement, students? When concentration remains constant, osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to absolute temperature. Okay, so there temperature is constant, here concentration remains constant. So how to write the expression? Write down the expression, students. Write down the expression. Pi proportional to T. Give this equation number 2. Okay. So first law is pi proportional to 1 by V. Second law is pi proportional to capital T. Fine. So in both the statements or in both the expressions, we have seen left side there is pi. Okay. First expression, pi proportional to 1 by V. This is equation number 1. Second expression from Van't Hoff Charles law, it is pi proportional to T. Okay. So both the expressions there is pi. So by combining these two laws, so write down here, students, by combining 1 and 2, we get pi proportional to 1 by V into T. Okay. So pi proportional to 1 by V, equation 1, equation 2, pi proportional to T. So by combining the two expressions, pi proportional to 1 by V into T. Suppose we remove the proportionality. So pi is equal to, we should take one constant. I am taking a constant RT by V, where R is called as, generally we call it as gas constant. So we can also call it as solution constant, or if it is confusing you, you just write the gas constant. Okay, where R is gas constant. Cross multiplication. What do we get? Cross multiplication. Pi V is equal to RT. Are you remembering any equation, students? It is exactly resembling PV is equal to RT. What is PV is equal to RT, students? Do you remember? Yes, it is the ideal gas equation for 1 mole of a gas. Okay, so PV is equal to RT is called as ideal gas equation for 1 mole of a gas. So it is also looking like that, pi V is equal to RT. So PV is equal to RT. For N moles, how much, students? PV is equal to nRT. So here also for N moles, pi V is equal to nRT. Pi V is equal to nRT. Okay. So, what would be the next step? So, pi V is equal to nRT. So, if I bring it to right side, it goes to the denominator. Pi is equal to N by V RT. So what is N by V, students? N is number of moles, V is volume. Number of moles per volume, concentration. So this can be written like this. Pi is equal to CRT. You can write down in the brackets. Since C is equal to N by V. Okay. So pi is equal to CRT. Fine. But how do we get number of moles, students? W by M. Very good. Weight by molecular weight. So W by MVRT. In the brackets, write down, students. Since N is equal to W by M. Since N is equal to W by M. Okay, this is V, students, not X. Fine. So from this expression, we can determine molecular weight. So write down where M is equal, therefore M is equal to WRT by this pi comes here, students, pi into V. Okay. So this is the expression for molecular weight of a non-volatile solute from osmotic pressure. Okay. So write down here, students, below where M is, write down, students, where M is molecular weight of a non-volatile solute, small w, weight of the solute, capital R, gas constant, capital T, absolute temperature, pi, osmotic pressure in atmospheres, capital V, volume of the solution in liters. Okay, draw a line till here, students. This is the answer for determination of molecular weight of a non-volatile solute from osmotic pressure. So next comes numericals, as you all know. Okay, put the side heading numerical, students. So numericals based on osmotic pressure. Ready? Number 1. Write up. First numerical. Calculate osmotic pressure of a solution containing 3.42 grams of sucrose whose molecular weight is equal to 342 per liter at 273 Kelvin. Students, in the brackets, write down the value of R, 0.0821 liter atmospheres, mole inverse, Kelvin inverse. Okay. Suppose if this value is not given in the numericals, you should be able to substitute, because you should remember the value of R. All the values in all units I have given you last year gaseous state, students. You can check that notes. Fine. So this is the first problem. Calculate osmotic pressure of a solution containing 3.42 grams of sucrose. So this 3.42 grams is weight of the solute. That is small w. Next, molecular weight of solute, small m, 342 per liter. What is this? Volume of the solution, capital V, at 273 Kelvin, absolute temperature, capital T, R. Okay, so all the values are given. So what is to be calculated? Osmotic pressure, denoted by the letter pi. Put the side heading solution. Put the side heading solution. So write down weight of the solute small w is equal to 3.42 grams. Next, molecular weight of the solute small m is equal to 342. Fine. Next, what is given, students? Temperature. Capital T is equal to how much? 273 Kelvin. Next, R 0.0821 liter atmospheres, mole inverse, Kelvin inverse. Next, capital V 1 liter. Pi is equal to question mark. Direct formula, direct substitution, students. First write down all these values which are provided to us in the numerical. Okay, shall I erase? Right. So write down the formula, students. We know M is equal to small w into R into T by pi V. So we have M, we have W, we have R, we have T, we have V. We don't know pi. Okay. So write down pi is equal to WRT by, if M comes this side, it goes to the denominator MV. So what is W, students? 3.42. R 0.0821 into 273 divided by M is 342 into 1 is equal to, multiply all the values in the numerator, students. 3.42 into 0.0821 into 273. How much did you get? So I got it as 76.6534. So something else is also there, students. I am taking only till here. Divided by 342. Divide 76.6534 with 342. How much did you get? So I got it as 0.224113. Value of pi. What are the units of pi, students? Atmospheres. So this is the answer. 0.22413 atmospheres. Okay. So carefully note down the solution, students. 0.22413 atmospheres. Completed? Shall I erase? Okay. Next, problem number 2. Problem number 2. Write down. Calculate osmotic pressure of calculate osmotic pressure of 0.01 capital M urea solution at 27 degrees centigrade. At 27 degrees centigrade. This is your problem, students. Calculate osmotic pressure of 0.01 M urea solution at 27 degrees centigrade. You know only 27 degrees centigrade. What is 0.01 m? What is that value, students? Yes, it is a concentration. Okay, shall we do the solution? Right. Put the side heading solution. Put the side heading solution. Write down. Calculate osmotic pressure. So pi is equal to question mark of 0.01 m urea solution. Concentration C is equal to 0.01 capital M. Temperature 27 degrees centigrade. This should be converted into Kelvin, students. 27 plus 273, it is equal to 300 Kelvin. T is equal to 300 Kelvin. So what is the formula, students? We have concentration, we have temperature, we need to calculate pi. What is the formula? Pi is equal to CRT. Write down. So we have C, we have T, you know the value of R. Write down R is equal to 0.0821 liter atmospheres mole inverse Kelvin inverse. Okay. Now substitute the values. Pi is equal to CRT. Substitute the values. Pi is equal to 0.01 into 0.0821 into 300. Multiply all the three values, students. So I got it as 0.2463 atmospheres. Did you get the same value, students? 0.2463. Fine. Units, atmospheres again. Easy? Very good. So we will be having numericals in this model, students. Fine. So we have learned determination of molecular weight of a non-volatile solute from osmotic pressure and also the numericals based on osmotic pressure. Okay. Next, short answer question, students. Put the side heading isotonic solutions. Isotonic solutions, which are also called as isoosmotic solutions. Which are also called as isoosmotic solutions. Now tell me, what are isotonic solutions? Which have same osmotic pressure. Right now, the solutions having same osmotic pressure are called as isotonic solutions. Okay, fine. Below write down, students. For isotonic solutions, pi 1 is equal to pi 2. Pi 1 is equal to pi 2. So below write down C1 RT is equal to C2 RT. C1 RT is equal to C2 RT. Okay. Therefore, C1 is equal to C2. Okay. But what is C? N by V. So, C1 means N1 by V1 is equal to N2 by V2. N1 by V1 is equal to N2 by V2. But how do we get N? N is equal to W by M. Okay. So, therefore, write down W1 by M1 V1 is equal to W2 by M2 V2. Fine. So, if we know the molecular weight of one substance of a pair of isotonic solutions, we can calculate molecular weight of another substance. Okay. So here write down, students, since N is equal to W by M. Okay. So below write down, if we know the molecular weight of, here, if we know the molecular weight of one substance, comma, we can determine the molecular weight of another substance. We can determine the molecular weight of another substance. Okay? Fine. So students, you know there are numericals based on the formula now which I have seen. So I will give you one numerical based on that. Put the side heading numerical. Numerical based on isotonic solutions. Ready? So write down a solution containing 5 grams of sucrose, 5 grams of sucrose, brackets, molecular weight is equal to 342, molecular weight is equal to 342 in 100 ml, in 100 ml. Okay. So solution containing 5 grams of sucrose in 100 ml. This is one solution, students, is isotonic with a solution of a substance A containing 9 grams in 300 ml, full stop. Find the molecular weight of A. That's what I told you, na? So W1 by M1 V1 is equal to W2 by M2 V2. What did I tell you there? If we know the molecular weight of one substance, we can determine the molecular weight of another substance. So look at the numerical given here. There are two solutions, that is isotonic solutions. One is 5 grams of sucrose in 100 ml and whose molecular weight is known. And another solution, A, the substance is A, students. Here the substance is sucrose. Another solution is having 9 grams of A in 300 ml, but we do not know the molecular weight of A. Okay, so we can calculate molecular weight of A using that formula. Write down the solution. So how to do the solution? Put the side heading solution. Write down weight of sucrose. Write down, students, weight of sucrose in 100 ml is equal to, in 100 ml, how much it is given, students? 5 grams. Okay? Fine. Next. So what I do is, weight of sucrose in 1000 ml we will convert, students. So both the solutions volume we will convert it into 1000 ml. Okay, one is given 100 ml, the other one is given 300 ml. Okay, so we will convert both the solutions volume as 1000 ml. So what will be the weight of sucrose in 1000 ml? 100 ml 5 grams. 1000 ml how much? 1000 into 5 by 100 it is how much students? 50 grams, right? 50 grams. Okay, next weight of another substance we will take. A. In how much it is given? 300 ml. 9 grams. Okay, same weight of A in 1000 ml is equal to how much? 300 ml, 9 grams. 1000 ml, how much? 1000 into 9 by 300, that is 30 grams. 30 grams. Okay, so W1 we know, W2 we know students. Next, molecular weight of sucrose. 342. Molecular weight of A, we do not know. Molecular weight of A, we do not know. Okay, kindly write down students here. This is W1, this is W2, this is M1, this is M2. We do not know. Okay, next. So write down the formula now. So what is the formula students? W1 by M1 V1 is equal to W2 by M2 V2. Okay. So we have W1, we have M1, we have V1, we have W2, we have V2, but we do not have a M2. Okay. So W1 50 divided by M1 342 into 1000. W2 30. M2 we do not know. V2 1000. Both we converted into 1000, right? So left side 1000, right side 1000. Now, so how to calculate M2? M2 is equal to 342 into 30. Cross multiplication students, divided by 50. So very easy multiplication. 342 into 3. How much students? Multiply 342 into 3. 1026. Did you get the same value? By 5. 1026 by 5. So when you divide, you will get the value 205.2. Okay. So this is the way we calculate or we can determine molecular weight when the isotonic solutions are given. Kindly note down carefully students. Okay students, this is all for today's class. Okay, so please kindly practice the derivation and also the numericals. Okay, in the next class we will be learning experimental determination of osmotic pressure students. The first one and the last one, both the experimental determinations are very important. Okay, there are more chances for these questions to be asked in the question paper students. Okay, so next week in the next class we will be learning that experimental determination, and we are left with only few topics. So soon we will be completing this chapter students. Fine. Okay, so take care students, stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong and stay home. Okay, bye.